Stop trying to work things out before their times have come. We all need to hear this today. Let's look at Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1 and John 16:33. Ecclesiastes 3, verse 1, the whole chapter of Ecclesiastes 3 is great, but we'll just do verse 1. And it says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under heaven." John 16:33, I love this verse. "And Jesus said to them, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Stop trying to work things out before their times have come. Accept the limitations of living one day at a time. When something comes to your attention, ask me whether or not it is part of today's agenda. Oh, that is really good. Let's back that one up and read that one again. When something comes to your attention, ask me whether or not it is part of today's agenda. If it isn't, release it into my care and go on about today's duties. Let's read that again. If it isn't part of today's activities, release it into my care and go on about today's duties. When you follow this practice, there will be a beautiful simplicity about your life, a time for everything and everything in its time. A life lived close to me is not complicated or cluttered. When your focus is on my presence, many things that once troubled you lose their power over you. Though the world around you is messy and confusing, remember that I have overcome the world. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. Ooh, that one really spoke to me. I hope it spoke to you too. When something comes, and especially if it's troubling, we need to release it and ask God and say, is this part of today's agenda or not? Because if it's not something I'm supposed to worry about or try to even do today, then we just need to release it back to God, and He's going to set it aside, and we're going to worry about it on the day that we're supposed to do something about that. Otherwise, we're so worried about so many things in the future. And a lot of things that we're so worried about don't ever even happen. I mean, isn't that true? A lot of things you worry about never happen, right? I know some of you say, it's because I worried about it, it didn't happen, but that's not how that works. So, I really like what she's saying there. Let's just take each day, and believe me, there is enough trouble in each day for just that day. And I just love that John 16:33, because he doesn't say, maybe you'll have trouble, or maybe certain months you'll have trouble, or maybe you'll have trouble in your 20s but not your 30s. No, he said, I have told you these things so that you may have peace in me, because in this world, people, you will have trouble. So it's coming. We shouldn't be surprised by it. However, after we are in this trouble, we can realize, you know what? I can take heart, because Jesus says, I have overcome the world. So He has overcome every trouble and every problem that we have. So I know today it's going to have some trouble. I know some of you are just in really, really hard times. I know I just came through a very hard year. Some of you are in very deep valleys right now. I mean, some of the things are just like soul-crushing, just terrible things, and I understand that. But let's all just release them back to God, because He's promising that we're just going to take one day at a time and not worry about the future. So I hope today you just focus on today, release things back to God that aren't supposed to be worried about right now, and He's going to take care of it, because He loves you. I love you too, and I hope you come back again tomorrow, because God's Word in your heart is the best way to live. We'll see you tomorrow. You can order your own Jesus Calling devotional book by going to jesuscalling.com. And I would love to answer any questions you may have about faith in Jesus. Just email me through my website, nancyjoytoyou.com. And I hope you go out and shine for Him today. See you tomorrow.